Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the December 3rd Albany County Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Rivera.
Here.
Commissioner Gosar also here. If you would stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I appreciate it. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 is a public hearing. So we'll start in the room first and then go online if we need to. And the public hearing is on the Conway Zoning District Amendment ZDA-05-24. Would anybody like to speak on or against the Conway Zoning District Amendment here in the room? All right. It doesn't appear like there's anybody online. Oh, please come on. Sure.
I'm Marlon Driscoll. I'm the director at Camp Grace, which is where the Conway Zoning Commission or changes are. And what we're trying to do is get it out of rural residential back to agricultural, but where it used to be. And I don't know how it got changed, but it got changed. We'd just like to get it back to agricultural.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Appreciate it. Any other on or against in the room? Online, there's nobody online. Last call. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing, please.
So moved.
Wait.
Second.
Oh,
I just saw you doing that one subject. Is it still public?
Sure.
this is just a
I'm
public
sorry.
hearing. Are you gonna
Oh, I
make a?
just thought it was, I'm sorry.
Okay, come on up,
Was
please.
I talked to you before about railroad spur in South Laramie?
Oh, no,
It's
it's not
just-
public
See,
comment.
that's what I thought.
yet,
Okay,
not
that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Well, we'll get right there. Don't get
You're next.
Confused there.
So I've heard move to close the public hearing.
Public hearing. I'm like, oh.
Move second.
Second, moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Now, item 4, comments from the public. Sir, please go on, please.
We want to make sure you get plenty exercise.
Well, there you go. I've already had it this morning. Thanks, but hey. I talked to you about that spur and the dust problem that we have out there. Okay, like the day after the election, I saw the wind come up and there's a cloud coming into town that unreal. Okay, I've called the DEQ complaint line. They sent a man over and I said, did he actually go into the site? I don't know if you guys have been able to actually go into the site itself. Have you had that
As far
chance?
as your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you didn't get into the site itself. Okay, well, the DEQ did. He said he gave them like how to contain the dust, maybe clean up the site itself. Okay, and I said, and I'm talking to him just briefly with him on the phone. And I said, so how long is this gonna go on? You know, they said 3 to 5 years and trying to get another spur out where the peat lane is out north of town. And I know what it took to get this one, you know, arm and a leg, and I can't see the railroad doing that anyway. And he said 3 to 5 years. I said, so with all the dust that we are constantly breathing, constantly out there, and it is, you know, hazardous to breathe it constantly. And I said, so is it gonna take us to get sick? You know, but maybe there's something to be done out here. I know it's Laramie City Business Alliance, LCBA, okay, who controls this. Now, didn't they do the territorial park, which the number one thing at the territorial park is dumping your sewage out of your RVs. That's the only thing that's used for out there anymore. Well, it is. That's about it. Come on, guys.
There
That's
might be
it.
a light show or something
Well,
out there.
in December,
Yeah.
that's about it. You won't see too many cars there either. You're not making any money off of that. The Cirrus Sky Park, as you know, up there, and those 2 buildings, Eul is in one of them. The other one's empty and has been forever. And that was $8 million on that so far fiasco. I can't see the Laramie City Business Alliance has helped the Laramie City business at all. The company that does the limestone is in Fort Collins, except for Pete Lean, of course, supplying the product. I don't know, and then Brad, I think Brad Ensley is the head of that. He mentioned to me that he wished this spur would have never been put there because Laramie is not viable to have a spur really here with the businesses and what we have. I mean, Brad said that to me himself. I haven't talked to him since. I guess all I can do is what? I don't know if you guys have any suggestions at all. I can call the complaint line again. And he said, you know, if there's another problem, call. And I said, well, if they don't clean it up, they don't do anything. Is there a law that can force them to clean it up and to keep it the ground's clean. So I'd love to give you guys a tour and just take you right into there and just to see how thick and bad that is out there.
It's just like walking in talcum powder, isn't it?
Totally. And any breeze is just, and the wind comes from the south, as I told you, it comes from the southwest. That's common knowledge here, okay?
So I spent 2 hours or
Yeah.
at least at
I
your house.
suppose.
You think there was one breath of wind in the time? A
No, but when you were there, remember looking over, a little whirlwind came up.
little whirlwind, didn't it?
And you just saw the white come up into the air and fly. I mean, just on that little bit, okay? Guys, I don't know, even the road going in there, they don't use any water to even keep the dust down on the road. I know they don't want to whatsoever loading that limestone, that's bad juju for them. And it's just, like I said, it's just constant. And a couple of years or more now, and I've called them and they said, well, that's the fines. And I said, well, okay. I mean, it's dust that you guys are loading here in these cars. I mean, I know the cement from the monolith or the mountain cement now. They made them put in dust collectors and do everything because of rotten egg smell, and that was through this town. I mean, it's just hitting it really bad. Now, this doesn't have an odor to it, that I can complain about, which I wish it did, but as I'm just at a wit's end. I mean, it's just, they put this in there and the dust is just horrific. If you come inside my house, I mean, everything. Open the door of the garage and there's white down the side, I mean, it's frustrating.
Could you send us an email to the commissioners, with the name of the person you talked to the DEQ?
I can, yeah,
And maybe your phone number and,
sure.
I will follow up with them and say
See what they can
what
do.
you
And
do.
yeah, I don't know what, like you're saying, laws, what,
Right.
can happen. Sure, I will.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
I can do that.
Jennifer, right offhand, you know of any recourse here?
Not initially, I looked into the things I could look into and I didn't find anything right off the bat. We're still looking.
Well, it's like, I told you guys, you Google, is limestone dust harmful? And wham, they hit it down there. It said, yeah, the more you have can cause cancer. I mean, that's what Google tells me anyway, in the dust in your lungs, yes, it's harmful to you. Okay, now what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Gosar, guys, what do I do? And the neighbors across the street. I mean, they just moved in and I met, she goes, yeah, we just noticed it's really dusty out here. And I said, well, there it is. And they've got children and that, and I don't know. I'd sure like to have this calm down some. I really would.
Yeah.
But I'll give you that information. I have
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I will follow up.
Okay, at least gives you guys a go on what to look for or ask and talk to. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you've talked to anybody at UP or anybody that you have.
No, well, see, they pay, LCBA has to pay, the UP, lease or whatever, they pay them. Then they also have to have insurance on it. Now, they've had a couple other businesses say they wanted to use it. They said it just wasn't often enough, I guess, to supply the money, but the limestone is. And that's the one business that they found that uses it constantly. And to heck with any of us, I guess, I don't know if they thought about the dust problem in the first place, probably didn't enter their minds, is my guess, but it is that terrible. I mean, if you actually drove into the site, which I said that DEQ guy did, he goes, yeah, it's nasty. And he said, it's just nasty in there. And I said, yeah, it's thick powder over a couple of years or more, piles of it underneath the cars. I mean, just any breeze just picks it up and there you go.
So is the company only hearing from you? Are there other neighbors who have?
I haven't talked to any of them. Mrs. Peterson across, she's not even living there anymore. Then you're getting out to the vet clinic out there and every now and then it blows right at them also, but not as often, because that's just going straight almost.
His house is right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, we've dealt, with different things here and there on, but this one here has just gotten, I have told you before, I could go out and just a slight breeze coming at us. And I can go out to sit on the back patio and you can't sit there. It's in your eyes. I mean, that's the big thing. You try and go, man, I can't even stay out here. And that's, it's a talcum powder. It's just such a fine dust that you get out of it. And you can't stop it. I mean.
And does it happen only when you're loading or is it just all?
It's all the time. I mean, you can see it when it's loading. I mean, it comes out of the top, you can see it then. But any kind of a breeze, yeah, then it just picks it up and it's, yeah.
It looks like snow over there.
It's insane. It is. It is thick. I mean, just thick because it's dust constantly. It just keeps piling up and coming, you know, as you can see from their site and then where the white is. I mean, man, it goes another, what, 30, 40 yards between the spurs
Yeah.
and the tracks, you know, because just, well, like I said, it just blows right at me. And the people, you know, like I said, across the street, but they're just moved in here a few months ago, so they didn't even know what the problem was in the first place.
But it all just blows through your house, your trees.
Everything.
And so they don't get the brunt of it that you get.
Not even, no, they don't. But they still get it. I mean, you in town still get some of it also at times. You know, but I just, nobody, you know, I told when I talked to the guy that with the Fort Collins thing, last January. Well, we'll put something in, I told you this, and they did nothing. And you can't, a filter is not gonna do it. The dust is that thick, it'll clog a filter in minutes. It really would, when they're loading. So I don't know what the answer is to it. I really don't, but I sure wish somebody would come up with something.
What it reminds me of is, in Elko, Nevada, that white dirt that's just out in their desert area.
Yeah,
And when it gets dry, it just turns to powder
right.
and, or the dump could be exactly the same, that it just turns to powder.
Oh,
You
it's-
step
yeah.
down in, it's awful.
But then they have some tankers that are just powder, that don't even have any limestone chunks whatsoever in them. It's just powder. You know, and they're banging on the side of the trucks to get the little rock, to get the conveyor belt, to go down, so they can load it. And, you know, guys, I just, you know, I'm getting nothing from the LCBA. I don't know, man. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's just that disgusting that we have to breathe this constantly. You know, that, you know, 50 years I've been there, guys, 50 years. And I've never had this problem whatsoever until this spur, you know, was put in. And
So that, how long ago was that spur put in?
oh, it'd be, well, when was
About-
Freudenthal governor? Because he was the head of the Wyoming Business Council then. He wasn't at that meeting when I went to Cheyenne. This other guy gave all the talks about it. But 5 years, 4 or 5 years, 5 years. Because I told you that Gay Stockman told me they wouldn't put any cars there because they're going to charge them. Well, that was bull. Okay, they had cars
That
there
is at
parked
least 8
16 months. Huh?
It's at least 8.
That could be.
Yeah.
But they left cars there parked that I was told was never gonna happen, okay? When Gabe was first talking about doing all this. Then I said, what about any kind of chemicals? And, oh, no way, that's not gonna happen. Nothing like that is ever gonna take place, okay? Boom, they get the $805,000 from the Wyoming Business Council when I was there. Cars are parked, Gay split, she was gone, she went to Mesquite, same job, I think she was doing in Mesquite, Arizona. So I talked to Josh Boudreau then when the cars were parked and he goes, well, Gay didn't tell me. Now this limestone, well, Gay didn't tell me. That's my answers from them. So, okay, she didn't tell you that. Here we are. So,
Is it your thought if that was cleaned after every time? Could they clean up? Could they suck up the stuff that was overflow on the car? Would that be helpful?
well, anything would be helpful. I mean, when they first try to clean it up, it's gonna be nasty. Cause I saw a loader there, well, it'd be at least 2 years ago. There was a front end loader doing it and he disappeared. Totally disappeared in the white. Totally
Maybe
disappeared.
he's down there somewhere.
Well, how do you clean it up? Well, really, because they don't want to water it down, and that's the only way you're going to stop the dust. They don't want to do that, so when you hit it and try to pick it up, what does it do? Just blossoms, you could
Needs a big
say.
vacuum cleaner.
Oh, yeah, big one. But, you know, guys, I just, you know, I'm hoping for your help because I don't know what else to do. You know, I mean, if there was a law that said, oh, I mean, which I'd love to see, well, this stuff is hazardous, it'll kill you. Oh, well, then something will be done, I guess. But, you know, eventually, yes. I mean, with the dust, I mean, you saw it. It's just,
I just sent Brad a text, so we'll see if he texts me back.
well, but I'll send you that
Please
information.
do.
You
And I'll
bet.
follow up.
Thank you for listening.
You bet.
Okay,
Thank
Thanks.
you. Sorry about
appreciate
that.
it. Well,
You know what? Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Well, I need to
So we
squeak
hope we
more.
can get it.
Well, I said, I talked to them though the whole time. I didn't come to you guys. You know, I did. When I said to Josh, I said, well, I'll count on county commission. No, you don't want to do that. That's just what Josh told me. No, you don't want to do that. And then when Brad and I had a slight little problem, that was the end. I said, I went out there and talked to the Joe kid and that stuff there. And he told me about, feeling 3 to 5 years if they can get a spur out there. So 3 to 5 more years, thank you, for the rest of my life living there. I mean, it's not like my place is worth $1 million anyway, but it's going down as we're talking, you know what I mean?
Somewhere this is done better. This same process is handled without the neighbors sucking up all the, and we're gonna see if we can find that place.
Well, it'd be nice.
Yeah,
But like you mentioned, is there other people? Well, yeah, there are, but it's like, am I not enough? You know what I
See,
mean?
I think, like I said, I think you're almost acting as the filter for all the neighbors around there.
Well, yeah, if it gets to them, but yeah, so. Okay,
thank you.
thanks, guys.
You bet. Any other public comments in the room? And it doesn't appear there's anybody online. Last call for public comments in the room and online. Commissioners, I entertain a motion to close the public comment.
So move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 5, disclosures. Commissioner Jones, any disclosures?
I don't believe so.
Commissioner Rivera.
I have none.
And I have one at item 10, so I'll be recusing myself from that discussion and that vote. Item 6, considerations of changes on the agenda. Any changes to the agenda? Haley, good morning.
I have a few changes. The first is I need to add home on the range to item number 10. Their contract came in the deadline that I gave. I did send you guys an email regarding safe. She actually sent the wrong contract, so we're gonna add her to the December 17th meeting. So this is just home on the range that we're adding.
Okay,
I also need to remove item number 12. I'm having issues with the funders that I need to get straightened out before I can have you guys sign a contract on that. And then Kim is not here. She's sick, so we need to remove number 17, please.
okay. 12 and 17 are gone and home on the range I have on my,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other changes to the agenda? All right, commissioners, item 7, approval of the consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. That moves us to page 2, item 8. Presentation of 3-month program of C3 AI services for property valuation. Chelsea, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman. Morning, Commissioners. I have been engaging in several discussions with a company called C3 AI, which is offering a Google sponsorship partnership aimed at enhancing property valuation process through artificial intelligence. Initially, C3 AI approached the Department of Revenue, which subsequently recommended they connect with county assessors to gauge interest in leveraging AI for property valuation. Following these conversations, 4 counties, so Teton, Sublette, Natrona, and Albany, have expressed their willingness to participate in a 3-month pilot program pending commissioner approval. I am particularly enthusiastic about this pilot program for several reasons. First, it has the potential to significantly streamline our sales verification process. It would enable us to verify sales for all properties and not just the outliers. Second, as we begin the valuation process for 2025, this timeline would allow me to conduct my standard analysis while concurrently comparing it to the C3 AI to evaluate its effectiveness. And then lastly, with upcoming legislation changes and all the new exemptions that they are granting, I am exploring solutions that would optimize our office's operations, and this initiative could be a viable option. Your consideration of this pilot program would allow us to explore these benefits further and assess the potential value of integrating AI into our process. The county attorney's office is currently reviewing the contract, and I've been working with IT to review any security issues. My hope is to come back on the 17th with the approval from the board and to have the contract signed. And then keep in mind, this is just a pilot program for 3 months. It will cost the county $1 because it is Google sponsored. And after the pilot program is complete, we are under no obligation to continue. My hope is that we can then work with the Department of Revenue and the state legislator to implement this program statewide. So with that, I also have Anil, who is the Director of Strategic Solutions with C3 here with me. And he just has a quick little presentation for you all, and then we will stand for questions.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Mhm.
Welcome, Neil.
Hello, board. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor. Thank you, Chelsea, for the presentation. As she said, my name is Anil Kabir. I'm with C3 AI. I work with state and local practice. We're based out of Redwood City. Go ahead to the next slide.
Redwood City.
It's San Francisco Bay Area in California. So I work with C3 AI. We are by no means a startup. We've been around for 15 years and trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol AI. We've invested billions of dollars into our solutions and work across a wide range of industries from oil and gas, manufacturing, as well as on the government level from federal to state and local as well. And on the bottom there, you can see some of the clients we work with. Go next slide. And here you can see some of the places we've deployed applications and secured multi-year contracts with the government. With the Air Force, we've been designated as a system of record for our predictive maintenance solution. They use it to predict maintenance and ensure the readiness of their entire fleet of aircraft vehicles in the Air Force. We've also partnered with the DoD and the Missile Defense Agency to model and simulate hypersonic missile trajectory for the Department of Defense. We've done a lot of work with the assessor's offices across the entire U.S. We've deployed in over 30 jurisdictions now across 12 plus states. And we're also doing work on the state level with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, where we implemented a generative AI solution that helps better serve constituents. We also have a very distinguished and esteemed group of leadership. Our CEO, Tom Siebel, is a software expert. He started a previous company before by the name of Siebel Systems and actually sold it to Oracle. We also have a few advisors that work in the government space, such as Dr. Condoleezza Rice and Kevin McCarthy, who has a lot of experience serving constituents as well. So the IAAO, this stands for the International Association of Assessing Officers. They actually created a task force a few years back where they wanted to look into the use of AI and machine learning in the assessing space. And they actually published a white paper that talked about the inevitability of the use of AI in the space. And we're really excited about it. We think it's something that will help improve efficiency. And they noted that there's a lot of benefit to be had by implementing it within the assessment space. I'm sure you all have a copy of the case study that we did in Sutter County, but that was a very successful deployment we had. They're one of the largest counties in the whole United States. We were able to see a lot of efficiency increases by, such as decreasing their full-time, increasing their full-time efficiency and reducing the number of hours needed by 75%, as well as decreasing their technical debt by reducing the number of models they needed to use by a factor of 16, while also keeping their PRD and COD numbers, which are IAAO metrics, well within compliance. And as Chelsea mentioned today, here's the structure of the pilot. As said, we're doing this in a partnership with Google. And the reason that they're willing to come in and partner with us on this is they're very excited to get into the state and local space. They want to help support government agencies and find a way to help us deploy our solutions in the space. They will be applying a $250,000 credit. So the total cost of the county will only be $1. And all we will need from the county, and actually we'll get this information from the DOR as a one-time extract of data from the three systems of record. And then we'll go in and deploy the application within 3 months and allow Chelsea to see the benefits of it and see what we can do with the county. We spoke with the DOR before approaching her. And we're hoping that at the end of this, we're able to go back to the DOR, show the results, and enable this as a statewide solution, and ask for your approval in allowing us to do so. And thank you very much. Any questions?
Any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, how are the workings of this AI system? going to be understandable to the average person? If, if we want transparency and accountability or.
It's a very good question. So transparency is actually one of the biggest things that we focus on when deploying this application. To start, I'd like to say the actual use of artificial intelligence in this application is minimal. We're not doing any things that the appraisers don't already do on their own. We leverage compute and big data to help pull from all the systems of record that we had to do our analysis and generate our values. And on top of that, with every single valuation that we have, we also deliver an evidence package that shows exactly how we came to that value. We'll include all of the features that we used to come to the value, as well as all some sales comparables that we brought and used that we can deliver to the public as needed for full transparency.
Chelsea, so then after the 3 months, you want to take this to the state and see if they'd be on board to do something for the entire state. What cost would it end up being to each of the counties afterwards?
So if the state approves it, then it would be much like our camera system is around. The state actually puts the bill for that. So that is our hope, is that if we implement it statewide, the state would pay for it.
Also, down the line, if it's something that we implement, what's the potential for human job loss?
So actually, we're not here to take any jobs. We're here to enable the appraisers to do a better job. There's a lot of high value work that doesn't get done in their offices. I spoke with Chelsea. She has a lot of projects she'd like to work on. A lot of assessors' offices do. We're here to, take some of the work off their plate and allow them to do higher value work that in many cases just isn't getting done. We're here to serve as a tool for them, not to replace them.
Yeah, so I mentioned one of the tools that I'm most excited about is doing sales verifications on all properties that have sold. Right now, we just do them on our outliers. It's probably roughly 200 properties a year that we're looking at. That takes my deputy months. We have over 1,000 sales that we need to review. If I can compare it to what AI is pulling from online and be like, okay, everything matches. I don't even need to pay attention to these properties versus going out and trying to research and find the data, making phone calls, all of that stuff. It will be right there for us. I mean, we'll be able to do sales verifications, and I anticipate in a matter of weeks, and do it on every single property that is sold. I mean, it's hopefully just going to improve our efficiency. And also with this analysis tool, I think you guys know Brandy and I are here long hours beginning in January, and we work through March. I'm hoping that we don't have to be here till midnight, that we can use this tool and work 8 to 5.
So if I'm getting this right, what it does, it allows you to do comparables and things really fast.
Mhm.
So if they're $2 apart, so what? But if they're $2,000 apart, big deal. But
Mhm.
you find those right away with this. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So my question is about the data. You're going to extract the data.
Yeah, so we're going to work with the Department of Revenue. They're going to give us a single extract of historical data that we're going to use to deploy the application. And as far as data security goes and everything, I mean, we work with the Department of Defense, federal agencies with such sensitive data that would be a national security risk if it were to get out. So we don't take that lightly at all. We have just about every certification in the book as far as security goes. But yeah, we'll take that one-time data extract from the Department of Revenue, which they've already informed myself as well as Chelsea that they're willing to do. And we'd use that for the deployment of the application.
So those entities, those government entities that you've been doing this for some time, how do you get rid of the data in 7 years? What is your data
So once
management?
we are no longer engaged, we follow industry practice for destroying the data unless otherwise requested in writing. But as long as we're working with them, we keep it secure. And then upon the termination of a contract or a pilot, we destroy all data within 30 days.
Any other questions? And it looks like if this were to be a county-only project, it would be $1 million for an entire year. Is that, if it's $250 for 3 months?
No.
Quick math.
It wouldn't be. The pricing is a lot less. There's a few factors that we take in pricing, but it would be less than even the cost of a pilot. It'd be less than the cost of one employee in a year for the county.
Yeah.
And the more counties that are on board, the cheaper it gets, but you can really get economies of scale. We're able to make this a statewide solution.
Right, yeah. But I'm thinking if the state doesn't see that efficacy and we do, Just trying to get a ballpark number to work around with it in a budget.
Yeah, it'd be more than willing to share that information with you. But it's definitely less than the cost of a pilot and even less than the cost of a full-time employee. I'd have to look at some information such as, population, tax roll and whatnot to give you the pricing, but, it'd be very economical.
Okay,
Yeah.
super.
And I think it would, so right now the pilot is just for single family residential homes. So it would depend on what all we wanted included. So if we wanted townhomes, condos, vacant land, commercial, if we wanted the whole shebang, it would probably be a little bit more pricier than if we were just going with
And
single family homes.
And that being said, the yearly cost would be nowhere near 250,000. That Google's helping us front the bill for the setup and application of the application, the deployment, which is where it's cost and labor intensive. After that, it's just keeping the lights on.
Okay, super. So, it'd be great, Chelsea, if you could figure out what you needed so that if you're not successful at the state, I want you to be successful at the state. But if you're not, what that might have an implication on our budget. If we were to say, hey, this is a really cool thing, this is something we need to do, even if the state doesn't belong to that.
And I'll work with her to get you that information as well.
Thank you.
Chelsea, to your knowledge, are there any other counties looking at this? Have you talked to any other assessors in Wyoming?
So we have the 4 counties that are wanting to pilot,
Uh-huh.
Teton, Sublette, Natrona, and us. But no other counties are looking into it at this point. No, we met as a group
Uh-huh.
and kind of decided that we needed some people to test it. And so I was excited. I volunteered.
Yeah. And so will you bring something back in 2 weeks for us to say yes, or do you need us to say yes today?
So we will have a contract prepared in 2 weeks.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Neil. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Chelsea. I
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item 9, present for discussion an update on the Albany County Property Tax Refund Program for tax year 2023. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to pass out some numbers because there's a lot of them, a lot of numbers. And I originally had sent Cammie a file yesterday, but we did find a formula error with it. So this is the updated correct version. All right. As you know, we've been working the property tax refund program over the last, 4 months, 3 months, somewhere in there, 4 months. And we were pretty successful in getting applications this year as over the previous years. So we had 277 applications. 269 of those are approved because they meet all the parameters. Of the 8 that weren't approved, 6 of them, their income was over the threshold, which is the $82,505. And then 2 of them, we had verifiable through our county assets that were exceeded the 156,900 that were allowable, which that did include some exclusions, of course, like the primary residence that they were applying for, 1 vehicle per adult household member, IRAs, and 401ks and health savings accounts. So only 2 of those exceeded the asset test. Overall, the total refunds to be issued is $206,239.90. The average refund is $766.69. This year was the first year where we had tiers to pay in. So some people who qualified to get 100% of the maximum refund of those 269 applicants, 242 are going to get the 100% maximum, where the 27 will get this at 65% of the maximum because of their income is at a higher range. We do have vouchers prepared. There's 269 of them, and I have carpal tunnel now. Just kidding. But we are working to get them so they can go out December 10th. And I think that's kind of helpful for people, especially this time of year with Christmas and just a tough time of year with some people, work seasonally and need the additional funds. I do want to point out to you that the state, you can see the state numbers are there as well. We had 529 applicants within the state program. They approved 491. And that was a total of $471,595.47. So we're giving back to our community just over $500,000. What is that? 677,000 roughly. I can't express how much I think this means to a lot of these people. I do have a list here. I took off all the identifying information if you're interested in it, but many of these people, their income, I honestly don't know how they make it. So I'm really glad that the county was able to do this program for them. There's some people that have no income at all as well. So, any questions?
Tracy, what's the maximum of the property worth that is allowable?
156,900, and that excludes
Their house?
the house that their primary residence. So if they have rental properties or maybe some vacant land or other property holdings, my staff, I shouldn't say me, my staff went through and confirmed everything that we have on our system, including vehicles, property and everything like that. Of course, if they own property in Colorado or, Montana or wherever, we can't confirm that information.
Right.
So a lot of this is, of
That
course,
includes the house, their cars, and then
Yeah.
things that you list, other things you list.
Yep. Yep. So if they just have a money market account that has 100,000 in it, they're more likely not going to qualify. But many people did qualify, which, we encouraged everybody. We never turned away a single application, even if their income from the get-go was over the amount. We asked them to apply because there might have been some error made in their application that we could have found that made them qualify after the fact as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tracy, your office, clerk's office, whoever else was involved in this should be applauded for your advocacy for people on the margins. I really do appreciate it. 59 people is how I read this in 2022, 277 people in 2023. I know you actively went out and called people, actively communicated to people. As somebody who works and in my day job with folks who fall into this category, thank you. It makes a $700 for me might not make a deal. $700 might be the ability to buy food for a month for many of these people. And so I just want to bring that home to you guys and say thank you. When the least have something, the community's better. And so I really do appreciate your advocacy. I really appreciate your willingness to go out and make more work for yourself to help people who need a hand. And so when our sign gets up, will be my vote to be one of the first things put on the sign. Because I think this says this is what good government looks like. And thank you so much for that.
I appreciate that, Pete. I will not take any credit. My staff did all of this. We kept, I think I mentioned before when I was looking to get an amendment to my budget for this, we kept a list of everybody applied for the state that looked like they were going to qualify for our program. My staff called every single one of them. I can't remember exactly how many of them there were, but it was a lot. They called to get additional information. They spread the word to everybody they knew. I went out and I was just more the face and the voice of, I went on the radio and some of those things, but my staff, they did all of it, and they're the ones to be commended. They work their buns off doing this. So
I think it's a great program.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Tracy.
Thank you.
thank you.
Item 10, present for approval, funding agreement between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Greater Wyoming Big Brothers Big Sisters, Laramie Interfaith Albany County Fairgrounds, Cathedral Home Community Programs, Laramie Climb, Wyoming, Development Preschool and Daycare Center, Downtown Clinic, Laramie Connection Center, Laramie Plains Civic Center, Laramie Public Art Coalition, Laramie Reproductive Health, Pilot Hill Inc., Regency Retirement, Residents of Laramie, Science Loves Art, Family Promise, Unaccompanied Student Initiative, Robbie's House, and Home on the Range for the fiscal year 2024-2025 Community Partners 1% funding. Bailey, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. As you probably remember back during budget, we kind of went a different way this year about allocations. We had each of you allocate your own $250,000, and then we averaged all that out. So these are just the contracts that go with those. We don't send the contracts out until the money's coming in. The money can't go out till December, so the contracts aren't until now. So that's all this is.
Thank you, Bailey. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for item 10.
I move that we approve item 10 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And I'll abstain. That motion passes. Thank you so much. Item 11, present for approval, grant award agreement between Wyoming Office of Homeland Security and Albany County to be utilized for emergency management preparedness in the amount of $94,675 from October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2025. Bailey, again, please.
This grant is just funding that helps pay the operations for the EMA office. It helps pay for Kate's salary, it helps pay for Scott's salary, and then just a little bit of travel. Just as you are aware, this funding does keep getting cut every year, unfortunately. So we will take what we can get at this point.
Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for 11, please.
I move that we approve item 11 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 12 has been removed from the agenda. 13, present for approval. Memorandum of Understanding between the Board of County Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming, by and through Albany County Emergency Management and Homeland Security and Albany County Fire District Number 1 for Communication Specialist Services from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $10,000. Kate, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. So this is just an agreement between our office and the fire district for our communication specialists to provide programming, maintenance, light install, assistance with the paging system for the fire district in exchange for $10,000 to go towards our operating expenses for the year.
Thank you, Kate. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion for 13, please.
I move that we approve item 13 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
commissioners.
14, present for approval, memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming and Albany County District Court Commissioner Jacqueline L. Bridgman in the amount not to exceed $4,583.30 from August 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. Heather, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. I am here for the MOU for Jackie Bridgman. She was our district court commissioner, magistrate. There's lots of words tied into that for our juvenile drug court program for the last almost 6 years. Historically, this contract has been from the county to the Supreme Court, with all of the changes moving court supervised treatment programs over to the legislative branch. They wanted to have this go back in-house. So the state terminated our the Supreme Court terminated our MOU with them. So the MOU currently in front of you for Ms. Bridgman is to get her paid for a few months that she has been our magistrate, and then through the end of this year. Jackie has let me know she's looking to do something else. She's moving forward in her career. She's currently writing her second book, and her kids are getting older, so she's stepping back voluntarily to have kind of more time for life. And so that's why this MOU with her is only through the end of December. That would get her taken care of and paid for her services so far and up through this month. And then the next item will be for our next magistrate.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
No, just a comment. I'm very saddened to hear Jackie's. I understand that she wants to move on, but she did such a great job with the kids in this program. And
She did a fabulous job, and her willingness to go to trainings and conferences and be present in things has helped us be able to grow. And she's part of why we got our new OJGDP grant. And so, yeah, it will be very sad.
please make sure to communicate our thanks to her for all the good work these past few years.
People that do all those things are the people you want, but you know they're going to keep on moving up, and congratulations to her
Absolutely.
and then continuing her life.
Thank you. And this funding, just so I could put it out there, is already budgeted into our state juvenile grant, is where this is coming from.
Thank you, Heather. If there are no more questions, I entertain a motion for 14, please.
I move that we approve item 14 so that Jackie can get paid.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. You're still with us, Heather. So the 15, present for approval memorandum of understanding between the Board of Commissioners of Albany County, Wyoming and the Albany County District Court Commissioner Patricia Bennett in an amount not to exceed $16,500.06 from January 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. So timing just ended up being perfect when Jackie expressed interest in terminating and being able to communicate with Patty, who was interested and she's been involved in all the specialty courts for the last many years. I met with Judge Westby, and Judge Westby was in agreement, and yesterday Ms. Bennett was appointed as the district court commissioner to officially allow her to serve for us as magistrate. So we have everything in place to start January 1st. We'll take a little bit of shifting of time because of Ms. Bennett's duties as public defender. So court will move to Wednesdays. We've been able to give parents and juveniles enough notice with at least 6 weeks. And now that we have our current office, it's not a problem. We won't have a conflict for having court anywhere else. And so it'll be a pretty smooth transition. And most of the kids are in treatment every day after school anyway, so they really don't care if they're coming to our office Wednesdays or Tuesdays. So it will be a pretty smooth transition. We're excited for this. Patty has already expressed interest in a judge conference, a judge training or new judge training that will happen in April. And so I've been working with Bailey on finances and funding that, but I'm excited for this. As sad as it is that Jackie will be leaving us, I am excited for the next 4 years with our OJGDP grant with Patty as our judge.
Thank you, Heather. Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion for 15, please.
I move that we approve item 15 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Heather.
you.
16, present for approval, collaborative data transfer and use agreement with the University of Wyoming, Wyoming Survey and Analysis Center, the Wyoming Juvenile Justice Data Collection Project. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is for, our office provides all of our juvenile citation and juvenile justice information to this data collection program, which is the reroute program. And then it assembles all of that data so it can be used for, at the university level, for trends. Our juvenile boards use it, as well as potentially for grant opportunities.
Commissioners, any questions? I'd entertain a motion for 16, please.
I move that we approve item 16 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 17 has been removed, so we'll move to item 18. Present for consideration the Conway Zoning District Amendment Application ZDA-05-24. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So The applicant is Larry Conway. Owner is the Fletcher Park Baptist Youth Foundation. Address is 382 Fletcher Park Road. This is Camp Grace. The request is to change the zoning from to agricultural from rural residential, which is actually now ranchette. There were reviews. No one had any concerns. Pursuant to Chapter 3, Section 5D of the Albany County Zoning Resolution, the applicant has provided the required notice by posted sign, publication, and certified mailing. Staff analysis, the planning department believes that the proposed zoning district amendment generally follows suggestions of the Albany County Comprehensive Plan. This property is currently zoned rural residential, and a change to agricultural is compatible with existing land use of the surrounding properties. Findings of fact, the findings necessary for approval and applicant responses referenced in this report are adopted as findings reflecting that the applicant has adequately addressed the specified impacts, and the same are incorporated herein. In conclusion of law, the applicant is proceeding in accordance with and is in compliance with the requirements of the Albany County Zoning Resolution. Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation was unanimously voted to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners approve the Conway Zoning District Amendment ZDA 0524, adopting and incorporating the staff's analysis, findings of fact, and conclusions of law as each are stated in this staff report.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah. What's the reason to change the zoning?
So this is a 630 acre parcel. Technically we're not allowed to, determine whether a zoning change is allowed based on what they're going to do. It just kind of has to do with the plans and whether or not this parcel should be agricultural or not. In which case, I believe it is. It's a 630 acre parcel up north. It should have never been zoned rural residential, but the way that the zoning came to be, it just happened to be that way. I'm not sure how. The assessor's office at some point had it as residential. And in 2015, when the zoning came to be, it went off of 1997 assessor's data. And so I'm guessing that in 1997, the assessor's data had it as residential, and that's how it came to be rural residential.
Well, it makes sense to me up on Fletcher Park that this size would be agricultural.
Right. Any other questions? Not an entertain a motion for item 18, please.
I move that we approve item 18 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Joe. And I have you here again. 19, present for consideration the renewal of the 2024 mobile home park license for South Bend Laramie Park, just under the wire.
So we finally got this application. Inspection's been done. So recommendation to approve this mobile home park license.
Thank you, Joe. Commissioners, any questions?
Not particular to this one, but Joe, remind me, what is the fine when they're not?
It's $100 per month that they're late.
There are no further questions. I entertain a motion for 19, please.
I move that we approve item 19 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Sorry.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
20, present for consideration a request for an exemption from the large tract subdivision process situated in section 19, township 24 north, range 70 west of the 6th prime meridian. Jory, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. So RLT LLC has requested an exemption from the large tract subdivision regulation to create a 35 acre tract from a large 440 acre tract. This is clear up north. It's pretty close to the Platte and Albany County border. With our review referencing the Albany County subdivision resolution, chapter 5, section 5, that has all the requirements needed to be exempt from the large tract subdivision process. We determined that this requested large tract exemption has met all the criteria needed to grant the exemption.
Thank you, Jory. Commissioners, any questions?
Is this off of like Palmer Canyon Road or?
It's just south of Palmer Canyon Road.
If there are no further questions, I entertain a motion for item 20, please.
I move that we approve item 20 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 21, present for consideration, directive to publish the Albany County Land Use Regulation Enforcement Procedures that will repeal and replace all enforcement procedures previously adopted and schedule a public hearing for February 4th, 2025. David, good morning.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we're requesting the opportunity to publish new enforcement procedures. The change in these enforcement procedures from the previous additions, basically we beefed up the investigation section of it so that we, in the planning office, have a better understanding of what we need to collect, the information that we need to make sure that we have, so that when we pass this on to the county attorney's office, that they have all of the documents and the information they need to enforce it through their court procedures. So that's the biggest change in these procedures. And then there's some things that were in the other procedures that we don't need to have in there. And Matt Ayers from the county attorney's office is the one that kind of worked on this and put this together. So we've reviewed it, looks good. So I think this will help us as we work together as county attorney's office and the planning department to make sure that we have everything we need to enforce things we need to enforce.
David, does this go through P&Z at all? Do they preview it?
No, this is just procedures that from you guys, so.
I just had a couple of items I'll send you as far as wording and
Okay.
extra words in there. But
I want to thank you because we need this beefed up a little bit.
Yeah. I'll
admit to that. I'd entertain a motion for 21, please.
I move that we approve item 21 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, David. 22, present for approval, quote from Dell Technologies for renewal of Microsoft Enterprises Agreement in amount not to exceed $73,130.67 per year with a 3-year commitment. Adam, good morning.
Thank you guys for hearing this item today. Before you is a renewal of the enterprise agreement with Microsoft. Just to highlight some of the work that we've done, looking at our Microsoft renewal, right? It's a large chunk of change that the organization looks at on a yearly scale. We went out to our purchasing partners and one asked for essentially a straight renewal cost as to where everything stood, if there was any way they could take the EA and streamline it, as well as looking for flexibility options to recapture money as we kind of flex individuals, right? We have to keep so much of a threshold on licensing to be available to bring on and remove people from the organization as different departments onboard and offboard. And it comes in waves, right? One person for one office happens one day, but that collectively for us could be 4 offices in a single week. Or we do see large variations and, from the patrol side or detention side as well, kind of exodus at times from periods. So we wanted to take that all to the board just to see if there was any revenue recapture. What turned up is what before you today essentially is a streamline, taking the piecemeal portions of the enterprise agreement, wrapping them into the single M classification. So it's still a G3 license, or government level 3 license. But in the M classification, it wraps the O365 sources with our enterprise security and mobility resources into that single license set at a better cost per user. I would say the flexible options where we're looking at annual and monthly renewal timelines to allow us to have that deviation and recoup ended up almost 25,000 yearly outside of that or an increased cost. So we don't flex that much to try to return that cost. So I thought it was effective to bring you forward the EA. The Wyoming NASBO, the state contract there, the EA is a really good deal. They actually sell it under cost. for several of the segments, which is kind of mind blowing, but that is what comes across in those perspectives. So that is my recommendation as we continue forward. This will be a 3-year commit with annual payment. It gets to go on Tracy's GASB reporting. Yep. Which we highlight every year for the auditors, because we have made that upfront commitment. So that is what I present to you today. Is there any questions I can answer?
Just one question, what's MPSA stand for?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
There are so many 3 to 4 letter anagrams that they threw around. I did understand that essentially as the breakdown between the server licensing, which sits under an annual contract there, with essentially the cloud licensing, right? You take those 2 segments and put them together. One is the CSP, the other is the MPSA. And that's what brought that collective together.
Yeah.
I was lucky I got through the rest of this with everything else that I said. So
in my mind,
I think you did a great job.
hey, thank you.
it was Microsoft Professional
Because it was like
Service
a tongue
Agreement.
twister.
I'll take that.
Okay, if there are no further questions, entertain a motion for 22, please.
I move that we approve item 22 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Adam, thank you for being willing to go take a look at our licenses and see if there is a different thing available. I really
Appreciate that. Yeah, we'll get a contract for you guys here shortly.
All right, thank you. 23, present for approval, right-of-way grant temporary use permit with the U.S. Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management for snow fence along Big Hollow Road to the year 2054. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This is actually a renewal of an existing contract that we have with the BLM for right-of-way for snow fence on the property along our Big Hollow Road.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Well, is it Wyoming woods?
Centennial Woods. And they've been maintaining,
Okay.
they've been maintaining it. They've been really busy also keeping up, but
Well, good for them.
they've been working on
Sometimes
that
they blow
portion
down
of
or
it.
something,
Yeah.
somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Not entertain a motion for 23, please.
I move that we approve item 23 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Rob. 24, present for concurrence, City of Laramie, Wyoming Resolution 2024-095 and Albany County Resolution 2024-020, a resolution appointing one member of the Laramie Airport Board. So Jackie Gonzalez's term is up and she would like to continue, I think for one more term. Not going to put words in Jackie's mouth, but that will go in front of the city tonight, I believe. And we're just a little early on that concurrence. Any other questions? Not entertain a motion for 24, please.
I move that we approve the concurrence with the City of Laramie for Wyoming Resolution 2024-095 at the of Jackie Gonzalez as a member of the board of the Laramie Regional Airport.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
That motion carries. Item 25, present for discussion, funding for project graduation class of 2025. So it was explained that we had wanted them to go through the 1% with us. I'm not sure they got the memo, but they would like to request, was it $1,000, Bailey? I think it's
That's usually what they would say.
I think it's $1,000.
Let's see here. All it says is that this donating level is $400 or more. I don't know that they stated exactly how much they wanted. I think in the past, we have given them 1,000.
Yeah.
And they've always gone through it this way. But I don't remember, I thought that they requested from the city.
They did request from the city because
I don't know why they didn't ask from the county at the same time, because the community partners is at the exact same time. So
I don't know if there's
Maybe they didn't realize.
miscommunication somewhere. I'd be happy to reach out. However, so, let's see. Nancy OP at the city reached out to me. They're getting ready to release the 25-26 1% January 2nd or 3rd, something like that. Then that doesn't take effect. Money they can't go out until December. So I mean, it's like a whole year process. So I don't know if you guys want to fund them this way one more year and say next year you have to go through this other process. Applications are going to open in January. Or if you don't want to fund them this year and say, no, you need to go through this process just like you do with the city. All you have to do is check the little box next to the county.
They might have thought though that they couldn't do both or something. You know,
Maybe, and it could just be
Yeah.
miscommunication, and I'm happy to reach out. I just need to know what you all would like me to tell them.
Yeah, because usually they actually come in person and.
Well, because
ask
it's
for
always
it.
been outside of the community part, but it's always come out of 1% funds.
They have actually even requested funding through the city for rec board previous years, not just this last year, but in previous years before that. I remember them asking.
Well, I think we should go ahead and fund them for what we funded them in the past and then make it clear that what we would like in the future.
I agree. They need to start planning and
Okay.
knowing what money they have.
I'll be happy to reach out to them.
Thank you all.
So do you want us to bring it back as a action item on the 17th to approve the funding? I can get an exact amount of what they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then, okay.
that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. So 26, executive session pursuant to Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405A, Roman numerat 3 and 7. I'd entertain that motion, commissioners.
I move that we exit regular session and move into executive session at 10:35 pursuant to Wyoming statute 16-4-405, movement A, triple I, and 7.
Mouthful.
Second, yeah.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. We'll leave regular session, enter executive session, and when we're finished, we'll be back to regular session.
For some reason, I thought, oh, no.
That's what I thought too, actually.
I really do try not to traumatize you. It just happens.
So item 28, return to regular session. I'd entertain a motion for item 28.
I move that we return to regular session at 10:39.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item 29, action if needed regarding executive session.
I move that we authorize the sending of a letter to Magnolia Acres.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. 30, approved vouchers for November 2024. I'd entertain that motion.
I move that we approve vouchers for November 2024.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Item 31, adjourn. I would entertain a motion for 31.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you much. We will see you on December 17th at